Hey guys, SleeveShirtholes here, and we are today going to be starting a new video series, and I'm taking you along with me for the ride. We're going to be building my portfolio site. I don't have one currently because I haven't needed one before, but I am on the search for my next full stack developer role, and I thought it would be a great way to showcase the work that I've done so far. Hey guys, now we have our editor, we're ready to code, but before we do that, it's always important to go over the overall picture of what you're going to be doing. So that way you know where you're going from start to finish. So I created this checklist. This is not set in stone. Obviously things may change. I kind of outlined it in a way that I thought made sense, but we could jump around a little bit. So it's not necessarily sequential, but we will start from the top and go down. So first thing is go over the project, which I kind of did already, and we're going to be setting up the application with Tanstack Start. So that's the first step, is setting up Tanstack Start. Then we'll go through and set up the database. Also set up Prisma, because we're going to be using that as our ORM to interact with the database. Next, we'll set up the Tailwind and ShadCN UI. I believe that Tanstack Start already starts with Tailwind, but if not, we'll go through the setup process. We may even just cover it anyway, just for you guys, so that way you can use that information if you need to. And then ShadCN UI for UI components that we can use that make it really easy to make our site look great. Next would be BetterAuth, using that for login purposes, and handling the security of the application. There will be roles as well that we'll need to add at that point, so that way only I can go in and edit content for the website and add videos and stuff like that. So we will add that at that point as well. And then one of the big things is the admin view for content management, because I want to be able to go in. If I have a new entry, just go to the site, go to the admin section, put the information in, and post that information, and be done. I don't want to have to edit a file in my code base to do that. So that's one big thing. Also blow up blog posts, be able to post blog posts. I do want to add my YouTube links to my YouTube videos. Not sure how that's going to look yet. We'll come up with that as we get closer to it. So that's a lot of that is still yet to be determined, but that's the fun part of developing, right? You don't always have every little piece figured out at the beginning, and even if you do, like, you're probably going to change something along the way. So we're not 100% sure what that will look like, but we'll work on that as we go. And then the last thing, obviously, once we've done everything that we need to for the site, we're going to deploy it. I don't know where we're going to do that yet. I've used Netlify, I've used Vercel. Those are just a couple that I've used. I've also used Heroku is the right way to say it. But anyway, I haven't really thought that far ahead yet on where we were going to deploy it, but that will be the last video. And then you guys will be there with me when I press the go live button. So this should be a fun project. I'm really excited to bring you guys along for this. So let's jump in. All right, guys. So first steps first, we need to create a repository to hold this application. I've already gone through and created one, but easy to do. You just go to github.com. If you don't have an account already, obviously create an account. You'll come to your account page here, click on it, it'll show the overview, but you'll go to repositories, then you'll just click new, add your name in, your description, set visibility, all that fun stuff. You can go off a template, they have some as well, and then you just click create repository. So I already have one here that I created a second ago, so we're going to go ahead and clone this one. So you come in here to the repository and you copy the URL here, and then we're going to go back to Windsurf. We're going to clone a repository. I'm going to enter that URL. I'm not going to click this because I've already cloned it locally. You just click this, it clones it for you, opens it in Windsurf. So then you would be taken here like I am. So we've got the repository set up, so we're good to go there. Let's go to the next step. All right, guys, now that we got the repository created, We've cloned it locally. We've got it opened in our code editor. I like to use Windsurf. I've also used Cursor before, regular VS Code. Since I am going to be using AI throughout this project, you'll see how I utilize it. It's the future. It makes me way more productive. I've also used Cursor for AI as well, and that's pretty good, but I've been using Windsurf lately and I've really enjoyed it. So you can use whatever code editor you want, but that's one I'm going to be using. And we're going to go ahead and get Tanstack Start set up. So let's pull their site up here. And when you go to their site, if you just go to Tanstack's main site, it takes you here. You can click on Tanstack Start, and then you just click on Get Started. It'll take you to this page, and we're going to click on Getting Started here, and we're just going to use the CLI for this because it's way easier. It sets everything up for you that we need. There is a manual way to do it, but this is the easiest. So let's go back to our Windsurf, and we're going to paste this command. Before you click enter, I just wanted to give a warning. If you just click enter here, one of the first things it's going to ask you is, what do you want to name your project? And what that basically does is creates a folder and then puts everything into that folder. I don't want to do that here because I have a portfolio named Sleeves Portfolio. I don't want it to say Sleeves Portfolio, and then all the files. That just seems weird. And so what I like to do is I always add a dot. That basically tells the CLI that, hey, just create this application in this folder. So let's go ahead and click that. We're going to let it run, and it's going to ask, it already exists. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. We're good. We don't need to worry about that. So it's initializing the Git repository, which that's already done. And it's installing the dependencies via npm now. We just have to wait for this to finish. And as you can see over here on the left, it is going through and it's creating the files that we need for this application. So we're good to go. Set that up. We're going to run it now using that command, npm run dev. And basically, just as a quick tidbit of information in case you need it or you don't, this npm run dev is a script that we have set up in our package.json file. So if you go to that, it's in the root directory of your repository, and you'll see here the scripts section, dev, and that just runs Vite, the dev server at port 3000. So that's basically what we're doing right now, is by typing that in, we're doing npm run dev. And then there's other scripts obviously that they set up for you as well, like building the application, preview, and then if you want to run any tests that you might have set up, that would be where you do it as well. Then this section here just tells you the packages that are being used. All this is Tanstack stuff here. You got Lucid React, which I believe are icons, React, React DOM, and Tailwind. So we do have Tailwind set up already. We don't have to go through that process. And then additionally, there are dev dependencies as well that they add on there for you. And that's it. And then you have the PMPM. That's, you don't need to worry about that. So that's the package.json. So I just wanted to kind of give that information. So let's go ahead and click npm run dev. And let's pull this up. There you go. All good to go. Running really good. This is just a generic starter page that they add on here, just to kind of showcase it, give you some information to go off of, that sort of thing. We're going to delete all this right now because we don't need it. It does also give you a quick start here, just to follow if you want to. Basically, it's go to the index page, get rid of that. You can also update the header and the footer and add routes and tweak the styles as well. But we're just going to delete all this stuff right now. So let's go back to Windsurf. And we're going to go to the source folder. And so if you go to routes and you go to index, or actually root, sorry, not index. you'll see this is the root file, React file for the application. I am going to change this to say Sleeves portfolio. Perfect. And that's all I'm going to change there. And then I just wanted to show this. So this is the header that we're seeing. So if we go there, we can see Tanstack Start. We can see go to Tanstack GitHub. That's all this information that's showing right here. So if we just go back to the root and we delete this header, then we won't see that anymore. It's gone, as you can see. We're also going to get rid of the footer. That's all that information at the bottom. So let's just save that file. That's gone as well. And so basically in this root folder, you're going to want to put like a nav bar in here, a footer, stuff that you want to be shown on every single page. This children is what we're seeing here on the rest of the content, because as you notice, I deleted the header and the footer. Those are gone, but we still have content that we want to get rid of. That's working through this children argument, parameter, whatever you want to call it. And so we need to go to the index now, because basically that children is rendering this. So let's go ahead and let's get rid of all this information in the main tag. And then we're just gonna autocomplete it because it doesn't really matter what we have in there. As you can see, now we have Sleeves portfolio just as text. So let's delete these two components since we don't need them anymore. This also theme toggle that we're not going to use. And then this about we don't need either. The index is what we were just editing. And then we're going to go to the styles and we're going to go ahead and get rid of all this stuff. We're going to get rid of these because those are not going to be our colors. And then I think we can just get rid of the rest of the stuff here. So just make sure when you're editing these files that you don't go up here and edit this information, because that's what's getting your Tailwind to work. It also looks like we're bringing in a font, which we probably could get rid of that actually, now that I'm looking at that, because that's not the font we're using. I don't know what font we're using yet. So these lines you want to make sure you keep in. This is a bare bone styles.css file. So now if we go back to the page, we just have a black screen with white text that says Sleeves portfolio. So now that we've cleaned this up, let's go on to the next step. All right, guys. So now we went ahead and we got our first checklist item off. Awesome, right? So we've gone over the project vision and setting up the application. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. And we did Tailwind. Well, we didn't do Tailwind. It came with Tanstack Start conveniently, but we need to do ShadCN. So I think that's what we're going to go ahead and do next. So let's go ahead and do that next. Let's set up ShadCN, guys. Hey guys, so we're on our checklist here again. I just wanted to check in. We were able to get Tailwind and ShadCN set up as well, so we can check that off our list. We are going to go ahead and set up Postgres and Prisma now. So let's go ahead and do that. So I just went to postgresql.org. This is where you can get it downloaded and installed on your machine. So we're just going to come over here, click on download. We are on a Mac OS, so you can, depending on what operating system you're using, you'll click on whichever one and you'll follow the installer. There's a few different ways to do it. For Mac, you can use it, you can install it using the interactive installer. You can use it for Postgres.app, Homebrew. I personally like to use the Postgres.app. It's an app you download, you start it up, and it starts running a Postgres database for you. So it's easier for me than doing Homebrew or anything else like that. So I like to use Postgres.app. For Windows, I believe it's probably set up the same way, and you just use the installer. It'll get you all set up and ready to go. So I've already done that. We're good to go to the next step, which is going to go ahead and create an actual database. So I'm back in my editor here. We're going to go to database. We're going to click on this plus sign here. Sorry, not that plus sign, this plus sign. And we're going to do sleeves portfolio. We're going to run. So now we have a database set up in here with no tables, which we're going to do, so don't worry about that too much. But yeah, there we go. We got the database set up. We've got Postgres set up. Let's go ahead and move on to Prisma. Hey guys, back at you here again. So let's go ahead and get Prisma ORM set up. So let's go over back to our browser here. Just go to prisma.io, go to docs, and then all you need to do is copy this command here as well. This is going to get everything set up for us, which is really convenient. We're just going to paste that in here, and we're just going to press enter, and we're going to wait, and it's going to create all the files that we need. So let's go back here, and as you can see, it's going to add a few files. So create a folder, Prisma, with a schema.prisma, a Prisma config.ts file, and update our env file. We're going to connect to an existing database because that's what we just did. So configure your database URL in that file. We don't need to do that because it's being run off an environment variable. So we'll update the environment variable. And then this is more like if you have tables already in the database, then you would want to run that command. We don't, so it's not going to do anything. It's probably just going to error out. So we're just not going to worry about that. They also do have a way to run databases through them. I've tried using some of these before, but when I'm developing locally, I like to have just the Postgres database set up for me and use like the options that we talked about before by downloading, Postgres itself instead of using these things. It's been easier for me. We will at some point figure out where we're doing the database and set that up and use that locally too, just to make sure everything's running as expected once we get to a certain point in the project. But right now we're just going to use the local database and not use what Prisma is offering there. And so yeah, it just goes through the information there. So let's look at our .env file. They have some random URL here, so we're just going to delete that, and we're going to put this in. So auto completes for us. The last part of this is the database name, so we need to update that obviously. Basically, we are set up here. So that's all you need to do there. There's no password or anything. So if we go ahead and we run npm run dev again, everything should be working as expected. So let's go back over to our browser here. Everything's good to go. So I like to check in on the site every once in a while. It wasn't running, and if there was an error, then we would know quicker. So that's why I like to do that. This is the schema file. This is where we're going to define tables. When we set up BetterAuth, that's when it's going to automatically set up some tables, so we can go in detail of like, here's what a table looks like, here it's defined, how it's defined in the file, so on and so forth. But that's where that was created. And then also in the public, or where is it? It's in the lib, I believe, in the lib in the lib folder, is where it's going to add the migrations. We don't have that yet, but when we set up BetterAuth, we'll do migrations and stuff like that. So, but that's it. We've got Prisma set up. So let's go ahead and mark it off our list here. Prisma and Postgres setup. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is BetterAuth. See you in the next video. We accomplished a lot today, guys. We were able to get our application set up using Tanstack Start. We also set up our database and connected it via Prisma ORM. And then we also set up our styling with Tailwind and ShadCN. So we accomplished all that in this video. Next time, we will go ahead and start with BetterAuth and security, so we can control the access to our application. And I really appreciate you guys joining me today. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave comments, make sure you like, and make sure you subscribe, and I will check you guys on the next one. See you later.